matchups? Because this is, we've got it. See, you didn't completely bury him. Yeah. Oh, you got the matchups? All right.
Yeah, that other one
because
is nowhere.
I think this, Gord, would be one of the things that at least John Cooper can hang his hat on, is that going back home and getting the key matchups. And is that enough to feel like this one would push it to a seventh game?
I think so. I think for him, and that games 3 and 4, even though Leafs won one of them, Matthews and Marner were neutralized a lot more with the last change by getting Cirelli out and whatever he wanted to do. So yeah, and that's what was great. The depth players came up in game number 3 for the Leafs, but that's going to be a big part tonight, obviously.
All right, let's go to Sheldon on the pressure that may put on a Matthews and a Marner.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they play the way they did the other night, I think that'll take them a long way, right? I mean, Austin, in particular, 200 feet of the ice, the way you're skating and competing and winning pucks back and all of that really goes a long way. But their play on the road here hasn't gone as well. But I think it's been a reflection of how the games have gone. Like, we, as a team, we haven't been able to carry play very well here. So it's been really tough there. It's tough to get any favorable matchups, but it's also tough to get favorable shifts. Like, it seems like we've been on our heels a lot in this building. So that's an area for us as a team. If we can get going and get on our toes and really establish our game and carry forward what we did in Game 5, that will help all of our players.
Also, let's not throw Matthews and Marner into the game for the first time after 3.5, 4 minutes, right?
And down 2-0. Yeah, no, exactly. And that's, put him out there at the start. What the hell? Like, hey, that's your strength. The guy Matthews just got nominated for the Hart Trophy. Mitch Marner's playing as well. Is probably the best Leaf outside of Jack Campbell, playing as well as anybody is in the playoffs pretty well. Get him out there. Power on power. Let them figure it out.
One of the things that stood out for me the most so far in this series is the image of Matthews hitting Sergachev. Say what you will. Should there have been a penalty? Should there not? I don't really care at this point. All I care is it's nice to see someone other than someone wearing a Toronto Maple Leaf uniform this time of year slow to get up.
Mm-hmm. And that's why perception is reality too, Kyper, in that, like Igor Shesterkin waving to the Pittsburgh Penguins after that regular season game. Some people said he was mocking that they were chirping, but we all think he was giving them the big wave. And last year, the one time, I don't know if it's because he thought the Montreal series they had it in hand, but Austin had that big smile when he was getting roughed up. So on one sense, you're kind of going, okay, it's good he's not being drawn into a penalty because you don't want your best player off the ice. But it kind of was like, no, you got to show a little bit of grit, a little bit of jam. And I mean, even that 2-game suspension was some kind of jam, almost like a coming of, you've talked about it before, a guy like Joe Thornton would pick certain moments that he'd just get pissed. And all of a sudden, a reminder that he can play a physical game. I'm talking in his prime. And same the other game you're right about, rather than Austin up against the boards kind of smiling as he's getting roughhoused a bit, he's the guy that got the good little hit in there.
And the play that he made when Pat Maroon came around and it kind of hooked onto him and he looked like he was maybe going to try to do something similar to Sherratt did. I mean, he threw the elbow up near his head. So I don't think he's taken much of this crap anymore. I think he's kind of gone to a different level. I mean, he led the team in hits last game. He was up to 7. I mean, in on the forecheck, game-winning goal, everything you want from him, more of it tonight.
You just mentioned officially up for the Hart.
Yes.
Shesterkin as well.
McDavid
as well.
I think it's going to be a close vote. I think it's because really it's been Connor McDavid's almost getting acclimated the last number of years.
I don't think it's going to be that as close as.
You think it's McDavid all the way, or Matthews all the way?
Matthews all the way.
That's my pick. That's my pick.
Yeah, so and I think it'll just come from a sentimental kind of feel from the majority of the writers who probably are Leaf fans.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I'm dead serious.
I think there's more. There's more writers that want to be perceived as non-Leaf fans that would vote for him, so they don't look like it.
And it's not like it's a hard decision to give it to a guy that's scored 60 goals. Yeah. And we've broken down in the last week and a half John Cooper and not at times giving the Leafs credit, and we'll get into that a little later, but he did comment on Austin Matthews and his Hart nomination. Let's have a listen to what John Cooper thinks.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard in this league to score 60 goals. That doesn't. I mean, when's Stammer last one to do it? Who did it before him? Ovi in what year? 08. So we've had 2 in the last. But they're all like worthy candidates. It's too bad because this is a year that you look down and say, gosh, Huberdeau's name's missing from that list. Not saying he would have won. Johnny Gaudreau and his plus 1,000. I mean, he probably could have been in there. There's a lot of guys who are worthy of being in there. So I think any one of them can win. But I always say, I mean, scoring 60, that's pretty good.
That's where the majority of the writers are just going to get away with what Cooper just described.
Mm-hmm. I hope so. I think he has earned it. And, yeah, so 10 years ago with Stamkos, Cooper wasn't coaching them then, and then 10 years before that, Ovechkin. And just, anyway, I don't need to go extolling the virtues of Austin Matthews.
No.
Like, he just learned about, I kid about being a pickpocket, because the way he skates now and strips people of the puck, like the other areas of the game that he's so improved on. And I know Connor McDavid has the blinding speed, which is, everyone's got pretty blinding speed, but Connor McDavid's at a different level. But yeah, I hope Austin gets it.
Well, and another burning image for me in Game 5 was what you just described on the game-winning goal. His game-winning goal was influenced by the fact that he hunted down Ryan McDonough, pretty good defenseman in his own right, and turned it right up on a 2-on-1. And that's the physicality of what an Austin can bring besides the 60 goals. John Cooper had a lot to say on that as well, the physicality of Matthews. Let's have a listen.
Listen, he's an elite player in this league, and they've got some elite players, and so do we. He's throwing his weight around. He's a big body. It really doesn't have too much of effect on us. Our job is to keep him off the scoreboard. And sometimes we have, and sometimes we haven't. Clearly, he had a big goal for them. I mean, that's bad on us that we gave a 2-on-1 to arguably their 2 top players with 6 minutes to go or whatever it was. Again, that's on us. But takes guys to finish. He finished. But Austin throwing his weight around, that's no bearing on us.
Bit of a role reversal at times, for me anyways, over the months. I'm like, don't need a pinch there. Don't need to gamble there. The Leafs left it for Tampa Bay to make that mistake.
Yeah. And you bring up Kucherov, which is a great example about him not being Matthews or Marner, that level of consistency. And you're right. It's the things. And does it mean you can get that all-important 4th game? Because Tampa Bay's done that 8 times the last 2 years, got a 4th game of a playoff series to hoist the cup. So that's the next challenge to happen. But you're right about all those other little things that we never really saw against Montreal, because it was funny. It was like there was a dominance when the Leafs were up early, and then the last 3 games are kind of a blur that they seemingly couldn't do anything right. And this time, good habits. I used that as a mantra in the regular season on Leafs Nation, and just, developing good habits, repeating good habits. And by and large, that's a big reason for their playoff success so far.
What do you think of the job of both coaches?